The date of this filming is April the 15th, 2026, or Tax Day, but it can be more than Tax Day. How about Reflection Day? It was in the early morning hours of April the 15th, 1912, that the Titanic sank after hitting an iceberg in the North Atlantic. Over 1,500 people perished as a result, including 84% of the men on board. But did you know that over 74% of the women and 50% of the children survived, and they did so as a result of the Women and Children First rule? Hey friends, this is Bruce with the Sentinel Broadcast. I'd like to talk for just a moment about the role, responsibility, or privileges of a man, of a gentleman to be exact. I believe that a gentleman is born to be the kind of warrior, protector that God wants him to be. But not just that, a provider as well, or a builder. He's intentionally building for the purpose of the provision of others around him. But more than that, I believe that a gentleman is not only a protector and a provider, I believe he's a poet. He ought to know how to communicate well, and when he does communicate, he communicates with value. He speaks with virtue, building up the lives of others. And I believe that that's why, woven through all of that, a gentleman should have theology or philosophy in mind. That's what helps provide the parameters about each of those. In other words, what to fight for and for whom to provide the most. And when you speak, how you speak properly for the good of others, for the building up of others. Speaking virtue requires that you understand what virtue really is. So I believe that what took place on the Titanic on that tragic morning, as so many perished, but women and children surviving, I believe is indicative of what a gentleman really is: a protector, a provider, a poet, a theologian, or a philosopher. I believe that you will face adversity in the near future, maybe even tragedy. I hope that you are never on a sinking ship like the Titanic, but sir, I do believe you will face that adversity, and I believe you can do it well. As a gentleman, be a protector. Step up to the plate and protect those around you. It's not about protecting you, because life is not about you. So be the protector God wants you to be. Be a provider. Intentionally seek to build for the good of others so that you can provide for those that God has placed in your path. And be a poet. Hone your skills as a communicator. Hone your skills to know when to communicate and how to communicate well. Listen to those who are good poets in your life, or those who have gone before you. Those who know how to speak publicly or write down. It's good for you to be a good poet in today's generation. There's lots of noise out there. Be distinct from the noise. Speak clearly and speak about that which builds others up. And that requires virtue. It requires that you have virtue in your own life. And that's where the theology or philosophy comes in. Knowing the distinction between good and evil, and making sure that you've got the virtue of courage to stand up enough to protect, to provide, to communicate well. Those are important attributes of a gentleman in any generation, but it's especially needed in today's generation, in today's world. When you will bring order to a very chaotic world in which you live. People need you, gentlemen. They need you to be the gentleman that God created you to be. I'm pulling for you. I believe that God is pulling for you. Thanks for listening. Until next time, Godspeed.